Hi, I'm Mike Nelson, photojournalist. I'm going to be talking to you about 6 common mistakes that beginning photographers make. So we're going to head down to the beach, take some pictures, and see what the results are like. See you down at the beach. Now we're down here at the beach, and I brought my wife Mona along. She's going to be our model, and we're going to start doing some pictures and see what the results are like, and take it from there. Heading back to the house, and we're going to check out the pictures and see how they turned out and show you how to make better pictures and be a better photographer. Okay, we're back from our beach photo shoot with Mona, and I've selected 6 samples of mistakes beginning photographers make. All the pictures you are going to see were taken with a digital professional camera. There has been no Photoshop, no manipulation of the pictures, or any cropping. First problem, out of focus pictures. In this example, we have Mona standing in the foreground off to the side. The first picture shows her out of focus with the focus in the background on the ocean. This is a common mistake when using autofocus when the subject is not in the center of the frame. To remedy this picture, you can manually focus on your subject and then frame it as you like. If you are using autofocus, however, then you first decide what subject you want in focus. Then slightly depress the shutter button, the button you use to take the picture, to lock the subject in focus, and then without lifting up your finger, reposition the framing as you like, with the subject off to the side, and then fully depress the shutter to take the picture. Another method which many professional photographers use, and which is a feature most cameras now have, is to have the autofocus button somewhere other than on the shutter release button. This way, you can depress the autofocus button, focus on your subject, and then reframe it and take as many pictures as you'd like without refocusing the picture. The second and third mistakes, overexposed and underexposed pictures, are related to each other, so I'll talk about them together. Here I will use some photo terminology you may not be familiar with, so I'll explain 2 important terms to you now: shutter speeds and f-stops. Shutter speed means how long the shutter, which allows light in the camera, is open. So, in the first 3 examples, all pictures were taken at 1/500th of a second, which means the lens or aperture was only open for 1/500th of a second to allow light in. F-stop means how big the aperture was open to allow light in. The bigger the number, the smaller the lens or aperture opening, and the less light allowed in. And now to the pictures. The first picture, which is overexposed, taken at 1/500th of a second at f2.8. This camera setting allowed too much light in, and hence the picture is overexposed. The second picture is underexposed, meaning not enough light got in the camera to properly expose the photo, and was taken at 1/500th of a second at f10. And now, in the properly exposed picture, using the same shutter speed I adjusted the f-stop to 5.6 to make a properly exposed picture. So, in order to properly expose a picture, you need to choose a correct combination of shutter speeds and f-stops to allow just the right amount of light through the aperture to expose the image. The fourth mistake is blurred pictures. This mistake is primarily caused by a slow shutter speed and can be the result of either camera shake or a subject moving too fast. In order to capture action, you will need to use a fast shutter speed and hold the camera steady. In the first picture of Mona dancing on the beach, the picture was taken at 1/50th of a second at f22. The lens was only open for 1/50th of a second, and that sounds pretty good to stop action. However, in most cases of moving subjects, 1/50th of a second is way too slow, and a shutter speed of 1/500th of a second is recommended. The second picture was shot at 1/1000th of a second, and Mona's dancing was frozen in time. The next 2 of the seagulls and Mona were both shot at 1/25th of a second at f20, but the first one is blurred because of camera shake. I just didn't hold the camera steady enough. However, in the second image, the camera was held steady and all the action was stopped in place with no motion blur. So, to make sure not to blur your pictures, choose a high shutter speed and hold the camera as steady as possible. The fifth mistake, which happens a lot and sometimes isn't noticed until you look at the picture after you've taken it, is unsightly obstructions or things in the picture that are distracting. The most common unsightly thing to get in the picture is a pole sticking out of someone's head. It can be a telephone pole, a sign pole, electrical lines, or some ugly looking thing like garbage cans. Anything that is a distraction and takes your eye away from the subject should try and be avoided. So in the first picture, since there are no telephone poles on the beach, I took a picture of Mona with a palm tree sticking out of her head. It is distracting and makes the picture unbalanced. So to remedy this problem, I moved a bit to the left, reframed the picture, and with the palm tree on the side, which adds balance, a certain amount of drama because of the angle, and a nice composition to the picture. In the second example, there were unsightly garbage cans in the foreground. Since it was not possible to move a bit to the right or left to get rid of the garbage cans, I went around behind Mona and shot in a different direction. This not only solved the unsightly garbage can distractions, but also provided a clean and interesting background of sand, sea, and sky. And now the last mistake I'll present. There are other mistakes photographers make, and you can learn about them by clicking the link below, is a tilted horizon. This especially happens when there is a clear and visible horizon like the ocean. A tilted horizon can also make mountains or deserts or cities look like they are going to slide out of the picture. And you don't want that. At least most of the time you don't. I had hoped to show how distracting and unsettling a tilted horizon can be, especially on the sea, by photographing a boat going by. Unfortunately, during the hour we were down at the beach, no boats passed by. So back comes Mona to be the subject. In the first picture, the horizon is dramatically tilted and it gives the picture an uneven feel. The straight horizon in the second picture gives the photo a balanced and natural feel. Tilted horizons are an easy fix. Just adjust the framing so the horizon is horizontal. However, sometimes, as you see in this third picture, tilted horizons can give the photo an appealing artistic look that adds a bit of the unusual to the photo. Lots of photographers intentionally tilt the horizon, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's up to you to experiment and see if it works. And lastly, I threw in a picture with flare in it, another common mistake. To learn what it is, how it happens, and how to avoid it, check out the link below on other mistakes beginning photographers make. Now you have learned about 6 common mistakes beginning photographers make and how to correct them. There are many more mistakes out there, and I mentioned one such as camera flare. I didn't get into other common errors, and believe me, there are many, such as with flash photography, where blasted out pictures and terrible shadows can ruin cherished moments. Photography is a record of our lives and an expression of your creativity. If you want to up your photography and be confident that your pictures will be mistake-free, click on the link below. Not only will you learn how to overcome annoying mistakes, but you'll also learn about composition, lighting, and some artistic things you can do to make your pictures more interesting and dynamic. So catch the light, shoot sharp, and make art.